I want to show you guys something.
Still looking. Steph's got it. He was fouled first. He was fouled again, and he lays it in anyway.
1, 2, and maybe 3. That's how many times Steph Curry was fouled on that final possession against Phoenix. I've seen less obvious intentional fouls than what Devin Booker did on that play. But as we have seen for a very long time, Steph Curry, for whatever reason, does not get a favorable whistle. It's probably because he's so rude to all the referees, right? I don't know what the reason is, but at 37 years old and 16 years into his career, I don't expect things to change. All I know is at 37 years old and 16 years into his career, despite not getting any help from the referees, Steph Curry is doing things that should not be possible. He's doing things that we never thought was possible, like dropping 12 three-pointers in a game against Portland, which was his 45th 40-point game after turning 30 years old. In other words, the most in NBA history. More than MJ, more than LeBron, more than Kobe. That 6'2" point guard, who was too weak and too small, keeps making history every single time he steps foot on the court. And with the Warriors struggling more than ever, everyone was wondering if it would be the young players or the new signings who would step up. No, it has been the same guy who has delivered for this team every single year of his career, and somehow he keeps doing it. Because at 37 years old, Steph Curry is not only dropping 40-point games, he is averaging 28.7 points per game, the second most by a 37-year-old in NBA history, only behind LeBron James. And sure, shout out to LeBron, which I know some of you won't like to hear, but he is one of the greatest ever. But everyone talked about LeBron being one of the greatest ever at 37. We heard it every single game he played. Why are we not talking about Steph Curry in the same way? Because what he is doing is arguably more impressive than anything we have ever seen. Because in addition to averaging 28.7 points per game, it is the efficiency as well, with Steph boasting a true shooting percentage of 64.2. And just for reference, that is higher than Kareem during his age 37 season, Kevin Durant, LeBron, way higher than guys like Kobe and Dirk and pretty much every single other player who played serious minutes at this age. Those guys were 7 feet tall, or superhuman athletes like Kobe and LeBron, and there is the 6'2" point guard more efficient and effective than all of those guys. Let me say it again, we just can't take this for granted. And the recent win over Orlando was just another example of how great he still is, because after a really rough first half from Steph, in which he shot 3 of 13, he put the team on his back in the second half, going off for 18 points, 4 assists, and shooting 70%. I need to tell you guys something. If you're using a sports book, you're getting robbed. And Polymarket will show you why. Because while sportsbooks tax your winnings, they block your trades, and they stop you from cashing out when you actually want to cash out, Polymarket does none of those things. For example, when Pat Spencer hit this shot against Philly and started telling the world what he really thought, you could have cashed out right here, instead of waiting for what we all saw and knew what was going to happen based on the Warriors season so far. Or if you saw the Warriors trailing by 15 points with a 15% chance at winning and saw this man was about to check into the game, you know that lead is getting cut into. And if Steph hits a quick 10 points and changes that to a 5-point game, all of a sudden that winning percentage could triple, and you could cash out at a 200% gain, all from a Steph Curry flurry. And Polymarket will give you $10 free, no deposit required, when you use the code 7man or download the app using the link in the description. And it started off with the Warriors moving the ball around really well, getting the pass from post, and we've seen him do it so many times. But for anyone who has played basketball, that is such a ridiculously tough shot from that spot on the floor, the underhanded floater. You know what else is tough? Drilling a step back 3 in the face of a hyper-athletic 6'9" forward. And if the Magic aren't going to step out and guard Steph from 30 feet away, he's just going to do that over and over again. And once Steph sees a few of those threes go in, we have 16 years of evidence that you're in big trouble. With him then going to the step back two, and even the GOAT sometimes needs a bit of luck.
These one-handed passes end up being a disaster, but Podziemski saved the day. Curry an open three.
And in the span of one quarter, after scoring 8 points on 13 shots, he had managed to score 15 points on a perfect 6 of 6 shooting in that third quarter, helping shift the momentum before continuing on in the fourth. And he's just been doing this all season long, which I know we expect, but we shouldn't expect this. We have never seen this happen ever. And unfortunately, that 48-point masterpiece in Portland was one of those games that will get lost to history because of the outcome. But it doesn't change what he was doing during that game. I mean, just look at this from Steph as he drives into the paint. Klingon provides that initial resistance, so watch Steph then circle back out to the three-point line, and with a nice screen from post, he just pulls and hits the three. And we know what makes Steph so impossible to guard is he forces these big men into positions they're not comfortable with at all. And then once he has them beyond the three-point line, he can just toy with them. Like here against Klingon, where it's just a slight hezzy at the three-point line, and he just makes him look so slow as he goes past him. And you know what makes me laugh with Steph? Is a play like this, where he gets a screen from Trace, and pause here, for 99% of players in NBA history, that is playing at the level. Well, no, for Steph Curry, that is drop coverage, because he just pulls that three from 5 feet behind the line and makes it look like bad defense. Steph Curry has just redefined what defense means and what you have to do to slow him down, and that's just the scoring. He's redefined all of that as a playmaker as well because of his gravity. Just look at him on this play, drive past Gillespie. He then draws Williams, draws O'Neal, and then Brooks, and pause here. Look at the defense being played on Mr. Curry, and he finds Draymond, who then has a lane to attack and get to the rim. And I will always talk about the playmaking of Steph because of things like this, because he can run into the paint and draw 3 defenders. He can get a screen and always draws 2 defenders, opening up the passing lane for the likes of Draymond or even Jimmy Butler. Anyone who sets a screen is going to get an opportunity in a 4-on-3 situation because of this man's gravity. We see him create opportunities without even having to touch the ball. And everyone talks about his shooting for obvious reasons. I still believe to this day, Steph Curry is an underrated ball handler because what he can do with a basketball is wizardry. Like here against Brooks, where he just cooks that fraud going behind the back, crossing over again, driving past him, and then finding Jimmy for the easy two. We have seen all of the highlight plays, but he needs to be put in those conversations with some of the best ball handlers ever. That's just how good he is at every single aspect of the game. And he is so good that defenders will forget about guys like Jimmy. Like on this play where it's just a scramble from both defenders to find Steph before he then drives, draws another defender, and finds Jimmy. And when you can create this much havoc and be so efficient as a scorer and as a playmaker, it's no wonder when you are on the floor, the team's offense is just at a different level than when you were on the bench. But right now, Steph Curry is doing absolutely everything possible to get the Warriors back to a respectable level. And at 37 years old, I mean, what else can you even say about Stephen Curry?